we weren't sure with the direction we're taking for this actress or this character. I'm sorry. So, we're ending this contract. I was like, what? I've been here just for 6 months because I had only shot Generations as Uzolega for 6 months. And then they're like, hey, Hadi, back home. I was like, ew, I've told everyone go to get going, go act.
That's a great introduction to the industry.
Yeah, now they're gonna see me going back, hustling, going for go my playhouse. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I remember on the day we were doing rehearsals for the live, and someone from production came to me and said, "Listen, it looks like you were in the lead, but Brandon has taken over." And I don't even to this day I don't know why they chose that moment to tell me that. I don't know. I don't know if it was to mess with my head or I was very naive. And I thought all adults were like my parents. You can trust them and they will always have your best interest at heart. I learned very quickly it's not the case. But so I don't know why, but that did mess with my head a little bit. But still, I just decided I'm going to do my thing. And I was unsure about who was going to win until that very moment they announced my name. When they announced my name, I was seriously surprised.
I mean, I think for us actually, because we'd been acting together for months by then, months and months.
Yeah.
So it felt completely natural. It felt completely. And we've been, we were looking forward to it, I'm sure. Both of us were like, yay! Let's do this.
Also, it helped. Like the two of you were the sexiest people on TV.
Yeah, we were a sexy couple, man. No.
I've got a degree in corporate communications. I've got a degree, an MBA.
Hey.
And I'm in entertainment. I'm an actress. I'm a content creator / influencer, and I'm an interior decorator.
And you are the last ever Miss South African teen. Right? I feel like I
avoid saying that.
I feel like that needs to be mentioned in your bio. It's like I was so good that they decided we don't need to have 2012 onwards. Like we
No, you just shut it down. I just shut that down.
But yeah, what you said about frustrations, it certainly was very frustrating for me, because once you get into a good groove and you're in good form and you're bowling well, injury came that laid you off for a long time, and it took you another couple of months or whatever, another long time to get back to that kind of form. So it was always stop-start, and it never, I probably finished out of the 10 or 11 seasons that I played, half of them was spent me on the injury bed or injured. So it was very frustrating, and eventually my back, even when my back was an issue and I was advised by the doctors to sort of put down to hang up my boots, if you will. I was a little bit relieved in many ways, and it's funny for me to say that because I was so frustrated in the last 2 or 3 years of my career that I was talking about retirement before I retired. So I don't know if I brought that upon myself, but I was because of how it panned out, and I knew my potential, I could have done a lot more and achieved a lot more. But the frustrations of that I pretty much gave up mentally.
That's it. I went on set. And thank God there was Sophie, because I had worked with Sophie on Generations, and Generations was on a break. So I was so happy because, okay, Sophie's there, got to work with Patrick Shai, people I had looked up to in the industry and loved. I met Fana Mkwena there for the first time, and I absolutely became like best friends with Fana on day one. And all the young people, we all just clicked, literally. But to go back to your question of did we know how impactful the product we're working on was? No idea. I don't think anyone did. Because most of those young people who were there, Abo Roni, Abo Papa Action, everyone was fresh from maybe like a township theater or market theater, So not a lot of us had experience to say, oh, this compares to a production I worked on 2 years ago, whatever. So people who had worked on big productions would be more Nabo Patrick Shy.
Yeah.
But Nabo, this was groundbreaking even for them.
How the role of Steve even came about?
So initially, the character was, I remember it was actually between me and my good friend Carl Bierkus. So basically the character came up, it was for a musician in Stuart's band, Colin Moss's character. That's initially what it was, because we were still the young generation of Horizon Deep. We were the kids who lived around the deep, and this guy rocks up of Greek origin, Steve Stefakis, and he's like, you know, I don't know whether they had pre-planned it or whether it was just something that came about after I'd been cast and was already on the show. But then, yeah, I got approached by the producers, and they were like, look, we want to make your character gay, and it'll be the first gay character on screen. How do you feel? And as a young, you know, newly sort of, my first TV show, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Challenge, you know, like, and then I kind of thought about the repercussions being a Greek boy.
Also, early days, we had a lot of white writers. Not that white writers can't write black women or black people, but because they've never lived our lives, they don't know how we live. It's very hard for them to really nail us. So with time, I had to teach them that, listen, don't give us an easy way out or just a universal way out, because black women are dealing with just a lot. It's a lot. Growing up in a township as Ipeleng, being able to open a school like that, you must understand how many hoops she had to jump through. So she's been through a lot, and you cannot divorce Ipeleng from the politics of South Africa. She was in the struggle. All of those things that I have actually explained about Grace, Ipeleng shares the same. So you can't just, because Ipeleng is weak, you just give her an easy way out. Or Ipeleng is angry, she just shouts without understanding that some of the kids that she's shouting at come from broken homes. So it was a relationship between writers and myself with time, gaining respect from them to say, trust me, I want the best out of this production. I want the best for this character. So can I also have an input? And it took time, but it got there. And I guess it is what made me to jump from acting to where I am today, because I really realized that we need to start writing these women the way they are. Sometimes they were written a bit weak or very superficial, but I felt, okay, I can change what I can change in Ipeleng for now. But if I get an opportunity to write my own stories, I will do even better, or even, you know, try to show other sides of black women that we haven't seen.
Do you remember your first paycheck?
I ended up being second top goal scorer that Manning Rangers year in the whole league. Wilfred Mugay, who was an international, Zimbabwe international and playing for Tata Bucks, finished ahead of me that year. Back in the days, I mean, the top pros were earning 15,000, 20,000 Rand a month. I was playing for Bafana. I was second top goal scorer. I won the league with Manning Rangers, and I was earning 2,500 Rand a month. But I was happy. So, yeah.
Especially back then, so that was only the second Olympics that South Africa was going to.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just different, but I never grew up with the Olympic dream, you know? I mean, the only thing I knew of the Olympic Games, if I honestly think back prior to Barcelona, is Whitney Houston singing One Moment in Time at the 84 Olympic Games. So that's that's all I knew. So I didn't think that, but I suppose there were other Olympians were very excited and everything. But for me, I remember I got up on the podium. First of all, I was the first medal for South Africa, so gold medal. So the anthem, being the new anthem, was not actually the correct version. Apparently there was something wrong with it. And I only found this out a few years later, that the anthem they were playing at the games, they had to phone South Africa, and a guy from Capital Radio told me this, that they played the anthem over the telephone.
Oh my God.
Yes. So apparently that was also a first. The first
That's
time
a fun
something like
fact.
that
I
had ever
love
happened.
that.
Yes. So
36 auditions.
Yeah, to land my first gig, it took 36 auditions.
Wait, so why didn't you give up?
Because I was like, I'm gonna be an Oscar-winning movie star. I don't care what you people think. I was like, it's gonna happen, whether you guys like it or not.